High School District 228 Board of Education meeting to order. Can I have a roll call, please?
Mr. Canning. Mrs. Gleason. Here. Mr. Johnson.
Here.
Mrs. Jones. Here. Mrs. Hayward. Here. Mrs. Ressler. Here. Ms. Stearns.
Here. Please rise for the pledge. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our first item is the approval of the minutes of June 21st, both open and closed session. So
Second.
moved by Mrs. Jones, second by Mrs. Gleason. Any discussion? No discussion.
Mrs. Jones.
Aye.
Mrs. Gleason.
Aye.
Mr. Johnson.
Aye.
Mrs. Canworth. Aye. Mrs. Ressler. Aye. Ms. Stearns.
Aye. Do we have any comments from the public? No comments from the public. We'll move on to reports, starting with the superintendent.
Freedom of Information Act request since our last board meeting. Mr. Frank Gonzalez of Tinley Park requested the average amount of years that teachers have been employed at each high school in District 228, as well as the average amount of years that administrators have been employed in District 228, and this request has been completed. The District 228 summer school program started on June 6th at Oak Forest with a total of 558 students. This number participating in the program is up by 38 students. The reduction is good news because less students are failing, so makeup courses are less critical, down by 38. Sorry about that. In addition, the summer school program, close to 300 students are participating in either summer academy or advanced placement boot camp programs. These programs are in place to provide enrichment for our students and to prepare them for the rigors of high school. Capital improvement projects are well underway. At Bremen High School, we've had 4 bathrooms abated by our in-house plumber at a savings of $35,000. We've replaced an electrical panel and some concrete fixed, 2 washing machines replaced, 9 windows replaced. In Tinley Park, we've replaced some concrete, some gym doors, some fencing, and we're going to seal coat the parking lot. Hillcrest, we painted the pool and the hallways, purchased some wrestling mats, fixed some concrete, and their parking lot will also be striped and sealed. Oak Forest, we replaced the pole vault pit, had some asphalt replaced in the main parking lot, and refurbished the team locker room and the pool. Tuck pointing is going on at 3 of our 4 high schools. We purchased 3 scrubbers. We've got a building automation system upgraded in all 4 buildings, and all 4 buildings will receive new drinking fountains before the end of the year. And that concludes my report.
Do any board members have anything?
Yes.
Go ahead.
The report for July 19th, Wednesday, June 29th, I was able to attend the South Cook Division Governing Board meeting. The business meeting was held at Colin Powell Middle School. It was conducted by our Vice Chair, our Jaffe Board. We reviewed the topics of discussion for the future governance meetings as discussed in executive session, future topics as well as location and future speakers. The award ceremony format, they said, will be, or the award ceremony will be given in October. Planning for future meetings, we also planned for future meetings and reviewed the bylaws of ISB for the South Cook Division. I also supplied were meeting dates for the school, various school districts. The next meeting and award ceremony will be in October at the award ceremony, and the date and location is to be announced later at a later date. Also, they made sure that they want to make sure that we announce if you have for the board members, if you're participating in the master board member surveys that they send out, please make sure that you fill that out and bring that back. And it looks like I have a copy of it. It was passed out, let's see, about last month. In our last month board meeting, in our packets, there was a master board member status. So if you are participating in the programs, such as the board development or whatever, or if you've gone to any of the governance meetings, that's included. This year, they say it will be the last year. They've updated their system where it'll automatically generate participation. So if we're going to the Triple I Conference, say for instance, and you're participating in pre-conference workshops, like I know many of us did last year, those finance or whatever courses that you take for a pre-conference workshop, those are automatically be put in there after July 31st. So the master board member packets are due by July 31st. So after that period of time, they will automatically generate. Also, on Wednesday, July 14th, I was able to attend the Making Meetings Matter seminar, which was held at Windland Brooks School. They held a Leadership Academy class, and which focused on why meetings do matter, what makes a successful meeting, who is responsible, how do you plan for a meeting, how do you conduct a meeting, and how do you evaluate the meeting. The purpose of this course is to have good meetings and make sure that we're conducting meetings in an orderly, timely fashion. And they also covered what ingredients to makes a good meeting. The bottom line, most school boards want to have good meetings. Success equals, and as far as making a good board meeting, is to make good use of available time. And they define time and content management to focus on making sure we operate effectively. They covered things such as COVAD's time management matrix and board agenda. They also stated that the 5 keys to effective board meetings are proper preparation prevents poor performance. Also, I have made copies for board members to review. I brought that back with the permission of the ISB. It is the toolkit for helpful tools for conducting effective board meetings. I thought that this course was very helpful. Although they went over some of the things that we have already been practicing, they also went over several other suggestions for meetings. It covered symptoms of ineffective board meetings. It shows you what an ineffective board meeting looks like, what an effective board meeting looks like, sample of school board agreements, which hopefully we can later discuss at maybe a committee of the whole or something. Sample school board agreements. And then also, one of the other things that I want to point out is on page 9 is the roles and responsibilities of board members. This was quite helpful. And they gave us about a few minutes to see if we knew or what we thought each role of each person serving on the board was, and then we kind of like drew a line and then to see if it was correct, and if it wasn't correct, we were able to correct those roles to make sure we properly identified the roles of all board members. Board members, superintendent, board secretary, so we'll understand that, each person's role. So I thought it was a very helpful class, very informative, and they also allowed us to see if they had like Cubby's timeline includes, is it urgent, is it, it was like a 4-quadrant matrix. Is it urgent meeting? Is it important meeting? Is it important but necessary or unimportant information. So I thought that was very good way of organizing the thoughts that you have made at a board meeting. In the way of announcements, I've already touched on the master board member activity summary report due on July 31st. The future involvement will be automatically given and registered. Also, I already gave you the announcement about the fall meeting will be in October. In this last one for the academy for this year, for the leadership last class that they were offering, but they also extended it for other schools would like to participate and host some of the professional development courses and to contact our field representative. The leaders that were presenting the workshop said that South Cook had definitely given a wonderful show of participation in the professional development, and it is unprecedented because this is one of the first years that we had such great participation in the professional development courses and interests. That is all I have.
Anyone else? I just want to go over, for those of you that remember, we had Mr. Materi come give a presentation at Oak Forest. Less participation, less attendance than I'd hoped for, but those that were there loved the presentation and appreciated the information he shared. The Bremen Township Trustees of Schools had their regular quarterly meeting, and they will be returning to the schools $42,000 if they are under budget. They've also started a new practice. Our treasurer, Joe McDonald, it was brought to his attention that some schools are having trouble borrowing for their bonding issues, working cash. Banks don't understand the needs that schools have. So along with the other school treasurers, they're getting together and they're offering the ability to loan this money to the school districts, and we're getting excellent returns. One 3-month bond issue, we got like 99 basis points, which is, you can't get that for a couple year CD. So we'll be realizing some good cash from that as well. I also, during my meeting with Dr. Kendall, he went over some things that he's investigating from the survey. So I would like him now to address some of those things to clarify the backpacks and the headphones issues particularly. What does our policy allow? What is cell phones with backpacks and earbuds?
With backpacks, we allow a medium-sized backpack, and the intent was to support our students who didn't want to be tardy and were rushing between classes with the small lockers. But we still have the ability to control those, and we're looking at some options, whether it be hooks in the back of the classroom or managing the backpacks. But if there's a student who's using too big a backpack or misplacing their backpack, we're suggesting that those students be reported to the dean's office and some remediation will take place. As we did some research on backpacks, there's really been no formal reportings or referrals on backpacks. So I think it's something that if we emphasize the rules and work with our students, we should be able to manage that situation. As for headphones, our policy has always stated that the big headphones are not allowed. We'd allow the students to wear the earbuds in the hallways and free periods, and that remains the same. So we'll do some clarification on that with our students, and I'm sure we'll get that piece organized as well.
And cell phones, yeah, it says
cell phones in the classroom, we really didn't change the policy. The teacher is in charge of their classroom, and we want to teach our students to be resilient and be able to be flexible with different types of leaders. The teacher is responsible for the classroom. As for hallways, we're going to allow students to use them in the hallways and other free periods or in their lunchroom. So, but again, we will support our teachers if there's a disruption to the learning environment themselves.
My point is, it's just, we are still looking into having some conversation from those surveys and taking action on them. That's all I have.
Just one more question. I had financial presentation. Did the legislature pay for that? Did we incur a fee for that presentation?
There will be,
Do you know how much it was?
Sure.
We'll move on to new business. Mr. O'Malley.
Thank you, Mrs. Stearns. Board members, item 7.1 pertains to our monthly bills, the addendum to bills, our payroll, and the CDS bills. The superintendent and I have reviewed these bills and we are recommending them to the full board this evening.
So moved.
Second. By Mr. Johnson, second by, I'm sorry, Mrs. Russell. Is there any discussion?
Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mrs. Ressler? Aye. Mrs. Gleason? Aye. Mrs. Jones? Aye. Mrs. Camworth? Aye. Ms. Stearns?
Aye.
Item 7.2 pertains to the District 228's fiscal year 2017 tentative budget. The Illinois School Code requires the tentative budget to be made convenient for public inspection 30 days prior to final budget adoption. At our September board meeting, we will have a full budget presentation followed by a public hearing and a chance for the public to ask questions pertaining to the budget. At this time, the superintendent is recommending the tentative budget. It's still a work in progress as we finalize numbers between now and September. But overall, the tentative budget is looking at an operating fund deficit of $3.9 million. In comparison to last year's budget, we're down about $700,000 in terms of our deficit. So there has been some deficit reduction with this tentative budget. And like I had mentioned previously, these numbers will change over the course of the next month and a half. And we'll finalize and present a budget in September. Recommending this to the full board this evening.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mrs. Ressler, second by Mr. Johnson. Any discussion?
I just have one question, Mr. Miller. There's some note on here. Are we required to be in a deficit reduction plan now?
The only reason that is on there is because we did not put in the carryover fund balances, the initial fund balances. So once we plug those in, the treasurer hasn't recorded those yet. Once those get recorded, we have the actual final balances. Those will be plugged in for the September budget. So no, we will not be in a deficit reduction plan once we plug those in.
Mrs. Ressler? Aye. Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mrs. Gleason? Aye. Mrs. Jones? Aye. Mrs. Camworth? Aye. Ms. Stearns?
Aye.
Item 7.3 pertains to the Career Development System fiscal year 2017 tentative budget. District 228, being the administrative district for the CDS, is required to also adopt the budget for them. So the superintendent is recommending the CDS tentative budget this evening.
So moved.
Second. By Mrs. Russell, second by Mrs. Gleason. Any discussion? No discussion.
Mrs. Ressler? Aye. Mrs. Gleason? Aye. Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mrs. Jones? Aye. Mrs. Camworth? Aye. Ms. Stearns?
Aye.
Item 7.4 pertains to our security contract renewal. We've discussed this and we've negotiated a no increase renewal for the upcoming fiscal year. The superintendent is recommending an additional year extension with U.S. Security to provide our security services for fiscal year 2017.
So moved. Second.
By Ms. Russell, second by Mrs. Gleason. Any discussion? No discussion.
Mrs. Ressler? Aye. Mrs. Gleason? Aye. Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mrs. Jones? Aye. Mrs. Camworth? Aye. Ms. Stearns?
Aye. Dr. Campbell?
Item 7.5 Terry Thomas Public Relations Firm to coordinate a public awareness model for our quality school construction bond and our upcoming exciting capital improvements. I'm recommending this to the full board for approval.
So moved.
Second.
This is tough, second. Any discussion?
Dr. Reynolds, what is the
Oh,
cost for this?
$10,000.
Not to exceed.
Not to exceed
For
10,000.
this entire proposal that they presented? We don't have anybody in-house that can do this?
Well, we do have Mr. Bloss as the public relations person. The recommendation is actually twofold. One, this is a pretty big project that we want to make sure that the public is excited about and understands completely. There's a lot of subtleties to it, so I want to make sure we do a good job with that. And Mr. Bloss says it's about 30% of her job is PR, so this is an additional project. The other piece is Mr. Bloss is going to retire the next couple of years, and we want to test a firm, maybe we would outsource our PR to go outside instead of having the benefits and salaries for two positions. So kind of serve two purposes.
We don't have like an intern program, intern that we can hire to assist her
Well,
with this?
this is a pretty,
It's big, but I just think it, you know, a lot, it's ours, it should come from inside. You know, I think that you can speak to it, I think Mr. Moss can speak to it, I understand there's a lot of prep to get these typed and ready, and maybe an intern can assist with that at a much cheaper cost.
I think it's a little different too because, well, Mr. Boss does a wonderful job of what she does do for us as far as PR is involved. Someone who does it on a daily basis as their job is going to really be able to do what we hope to accomplish.
I don't know, the way I see it, the viewpoint of it is, it's a lot of work, and she has worked with like she's gone to work with 3 or 4 people, plus doing PR. And it's like one person doing, and you have a whole team. If you look at the packet, it has a whole team of people and working in different groupings. They could do a little bit more than we could do. And even having a house, I agree with, wanting to definitely wonderful having in-house, but also having a person that's kind of objective and not in-house, but knows the needs of the school district. But not only the needs of the school district. The presentation was really thorough. I looked at their presentation plus the website of what they've done, and it's massive. It's massive, huge. And I would want somebody that had those expertise representing the school district. I mean, I'm just speaking for myself with that, but we have to make, I understand we have to make a decision, but it's massive what they do, massive.
Well, I agree, but we're running a deficit, and I think we can do better with that money.
Well, you give it what you pay for, too.
Just on one of the pages in their presentation, this is on social media. They talk about using Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, and Tumblr weekly, and Google Analytics, and search engine optimization. I don't even know what some of that stuff is. So these guys are experts in it. I think that's what we need. I think that in itself sold me, because we can't do that, and certainly an intern can't do that. We've had interns to substantiate what we currently do, which is quite good. But this is so much more.
In addition to that, like our school district has been wanting to, from what I understand, from looking at the background, we've been looking at ways to outreach to the community. And we can only do so much even being in the 4 walls. They're outside the 4 walls. And the presentation was awesome. I mean, this is really good. This is what you want to see. It's a lot of paper, but I mean, it's a lot of pages, but if you really look into it, it's worth it's worth it and more. Really worth it and more. I was surprised at the price.
Yeah, our firms do 300 plus an hour.
That's my concern, that there's a hidden cost as well, we've done this much.
But the look at the last sheet per a certain amount of time. And it's just a certain time limit for the $10,000. Yeah, but we can use the pieces that we're able to use the data, the information that they give. It's not just like they own all the rights to it. Once it's established, we can use it and we can support it. This helps us, so we can do a lot of the work internally as well. But you know, if she's leaving in the next 2 years, we're going to need something. And then also, when I got here in 2013, we were looking for ways to outreach to the community, and that's one of the ways that we can outreach to the community, because a lot of our taxpayers want to know what's going on. And with this building bond, you don't want to just take it for word of mouth. In this way, we're reaching the masses of our constituents at a better rate and a better frequency, and by all means, they're looking. If you look at the resources that they had on this sheet, it's surmountable.
I think it's the proper way to educate the community, provide them accurate information like they've been provided.
Just one comment, Mrs. Ressler, are you saying they haven't been provided accurate information by the district?
No, by certain people.
All right, Mrs. Stearns?
Aye.
Mrs. Gleason? Aye. Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mrs. Jones?
Aye.
Mrs. Camworth, no. Ms. Ressler?
Aye.
Item 7.6 is the annual South Suburban Conference dues. It's $980 per school, and that includes both athletics and activities.
Excuse me.
980, yeah.
9,800.
980, yeah.
I'm sorry. It includes both athletics and activities, and it has not increased since last school year, so I recommend this for full board approval.
So, second. By Ms. Gleason, second by Ms. Stearns. Any discussion?
So it's about 10,000 per school.
Mrs. Gleason? Aye. Ms. Stearns?
Aye.
Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mrs. Jones?
Aye.
Mrs. Camworth, aye. Mrs. Ressler?
Aye.
Item 7.7 is our annual scope dues. The dues is $2,014, which is the same rate as last year, and I'm recommending this for full board.
So moved.
Second. Moved by Mr. Johnson, second by Ms. Stearns. Any discussion?
It's not a lot of money, and I understand scope is our lot age group and so on, but one thing that bothers me is that this is based on the EAV, equalized assessed value from 2012. The EAV has dropped dramatically since 2012, so if they were really following the EAV, I would caution about now.
So how does that work? We get a reassessment? How often do they reassess?
That would be the, never mind. Take my time. No, they did 15 reassessment.
It says it's over here. Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Ms. Stearns?
Aye.
Mrs. Gleason? Aye. Mrs. Jones?
Aye.
Mrs. Camworth, aye. Mrs. Ressler?
Aye.
Mr. Guidance?
7.8 pertains to personnel. Under resignations, Elizabeth Terpstra, Jeremy Kaman, Eric Rudick, Anna Scheheiber, Richard Taylor, Tina Hedges Laxton, Rena Battles Singleton. Under retirements, Anthony Rappel. Under employment, William Scott, Ariana Anaya, Jeremy Lannon, Kenya Jett, Leah Bassett, Paloma Salcedo, Roberta Jones, Robert Bruns, Michelle Doherty, Thomas Elliott, Robin Vela, Allison McGarry, Carmel Blackmore, Nicole Perkle Goodfellow, Araceli Martinez, Melissa Barron, and Nicholas Keaton.
I would like to pull retirement for some more. I know.
Make the motion.
So you're first going to do the first one.
No, first we have
Second.
Mrs. Jones, second.
Motion to separate.
No, this is two. Now my motion is separate. Is there a second on my motion to separate? Now we go back to everything else.
We did this last time, so.
I have different.
So you want to do? Oh, okay, so it's not something you want to do permanently? Okay, so now you want to go back to 7.8 personnel?
Yes.
All right.
All right, great.
Okay, so we are now voting on the motion to separate
Separate.
retirement. All right, Ms. Stearns?
Yes.
Mrs. Jones?
Aye.
Mrs. Gleason?
Abstain.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mrs. Camworth, aye. Mrs. Ressler? Abstain. Four yes. We had two abstains. Just six. Okay. Now, personnel, minus retirement.
Right.
All right. Mrs. Gleason? Aye. Mrs. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mrs. Camworth, aye. Mrs. Ressler?
Aye.
Ms. Stearns?
Aye. My reason for asking for the separation on the retirement is because of the change to the ERO rules, and I don't want us to be locking people into this if they're not aware of how it's going to affect them. Explain the.
As of June 30th, the ERO has rolled off in the previous model. Teachers could purchase years, the district would pay a fee, and the employee would pay a fee. And you could get your full 75%. As of July 1st, you cannot purchase up to it, but you can get a 6% reduction for every year that's you're under.
But I don't know,
Under 60,
but if it could dramatically affect what someone's going to be earning during their retirement.
Could be. And typically they meet with TRS and
Do we know?
But the retirees are informed of what all the changes.
But when he put his in, this wasn't in effect. Right.
I don't know the date of the letter. June 21st.
That just happened.
So it's 10 days prior. We get,
We make it effective June 21st.
well, it's July 1st. So they're,
I know, but if he sent his letter in June 21st, can the motion be to accept his retirement?
But I don't know that if we accepted that, it doesn't have any effect.
you know, our local contract has no bearing on this TRS plan. We can table it.
He'd have to retire before July 1st of this year, is that what you're saying? You have to let
We
pipeline.
have already
There is no
retired. There's no-
pipeline in the state of
See,
Illinois.
that's the
State of
problem.
Illinois.
Basically, if the board decides to not table this improvement tonight, he's going to be locked in to retire in 2020. And if he is under age 60 or under 35 years of service,
Doesn't matter.
No.
then his annuity is going to be discounted 6% for each year he's under age 60.
You can decide maybe not to retire.
He just said, Sally already just explained. You restate.
We can certainly have a conversation with Mr. Raffle. That's probably best.
So we need a new motion to table. Or we'll just,
Table.
all right. So we'll do Mrs. Gleason, table, Mrs. Jones seconded. Yes.
Mrs. Jones, second.
That's correct.
All right, so now we'll vote on it. All right, so Mrs. Gleason?
Aye.
Mrs. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mrs. Camworth, aye. Mrs. Ressler?
Aye.
Ms. Stearns?
Aye. Now I need a motion to move to closed session to consider information regarding appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Gleason, second by Mr. Johnson.
Mrs. Gleason? Aye. Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mrs. Jones? Aye. Mrs. Camworth, aye. Mrs. Ressler?
Aye.
Ms. Stearns?
Aye. All right, looking for a motion to return to open session.
Second.
Mrs. Jones, I thought you made it before. All right, Mrs. Jones.
All right, Mrs. Jones?
Aye.
Mrs. Ressler?
Aye.
Mrs. Gleason? Aye. Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mrs. Camworth, aye. Ms. Stearns?
Aye. Mr. Johnson, if you read the motions.
I move to terminate Thomas Schmidt as discussed in closed session on July 19, 2016.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Johnson, second by Mrs. Gleason. Any further discussion?
Mr. Johnson?
Aye.
Mrs. Gleason? Aye. Mrs. Jones?
No.
Mrs. Camworth, aye. Mrs. Ressler?
Aye.
Ms. Stearns?
Aye. Our announcements are as follows. Personnel will meet Monday, August 8th at 6:30 at the Ad Center, followed by Finance, 7 p.m. at the Ad Center, and possibly followed by a tentative committee of the whole meeting. Policy will meet on August 9th, 4 p.m. at the Ad Center. Teaching and Learning will be August 9th, 7 p.m. at the Ad Center, and the next Board of Education meeting will be at Oak Forest High School on August 16th, 7 p.m. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Jones, second by Mr. Johnson, all in favor, aye.
Aye.